want change. We want change. We want change. We want change. We want a change.
Galentolu pule mulila pone. Politician po mulila pone. Bakulu wa bakulu. Tatule 7 youth.
The sound magician. Wi-Fi on the beat, boy.
Tatwa kupele voting atawa bomba e. Tatwa kupele voting atawa bomba e. Tawali mone voting atawa bomba e. Tawali mone voting atawa bomba e. Patuno mwaka kuya bebele. Twana kanemwe mwachila mobufi. Kuya bebele. Sakamwele numa. Kuya bebele. Mwachila mobufi. Mwalitula ile ona lembwa timukesa tupangira kwemisebo. Wali mipele ne voti ati mukesa tupangira kwemisebo. Ni mwewo mwachile mukesa tupulila ne chipatala ifwe. Ni mwewo mwachile mukesa tupulila na masukulu kuno. Ukutula potwa misalila ifwe. Mwalitula baona lebo. Imisebo ala ya jonaika. Ichipatala takwaba kuno. Abana besu basambilila mufi mutifya mango. Bana mayo mapapira mungande chipatala takwaba kuno. Imisepila chose mbalo fwa bapepa vyebange. Fama lelilo mufunda tawafika. Nembuto tashafika. Ukutula potwa misalila ifwe. Mwalitula baona lebo. Nomba lelo mabwela imwe. Mulefwa ya tumivotere. Tatwa kupele voting atawa bomba e. Tatwa kupele voting atawa bomba e. Tawali mone voting atawa bomba e. Tawali mone voting atawa bomba e. Pantuno mwaka kuya bebele. Twana kanemwe mwachila mobufi. Kuya bebele. Sakamwele numa. Kuya bebele. Mwachila mobufi. Kuno mwaka tulefwa yabakutubombera nota bakwisa kuno mukuzembereka. Mukutwibila mano nga twabavotera abaya. Nangu mwatupele ndalama tulepo katatwa mivotere. Ni don't kubeba wapoka walya. Ni don't kubeba wapoka walya. Ababina chimu na mwekole uko bafuma balilaba. Bai kutapiza bala boko bafuma. Bai kutapai bala bati bakabwela. Baja chikini nena mabanu inapana kaso. Wala ona lebo mulabeja. Ukutula potwa misalila ifwe. Walitula baona lebo. Nomba lelo mabwela imwe. Mulefwa ya tumivotere. Tatwa kupele voting atawa bomba e. Tatwa kupele voting atawa bomba e. Tawali mone voting atawa bomba e. Tawali mone voting atawa bomba e. Pantuno mwaka kuya bebele. Twana kanemwe mwachila mobufi. Kuya bebele. Sakamwele numa. Kuya bebele. Mwachila mobufi. Pantuno mwaka kuya bebele. Twana kanemwe mwachila mobufi. Kuya bebele. Sakamwele numa. Kuya bebele. Mwachila mobufi. Pantuno mwaka twana kanemwe.
The sound magician.
Uhuru ma politics wataka. Political prostitution. Okay? Where now we are seeing the same things that is happening, you say, in development, where the civil servant, when a senior civil servant is visiting them, they parade a person, say this and this. This is exactly what is doing in the politics. In the first place, a political party is formed under an ideology. A political party is formed under an ideology. If there is a political party that has got no ideology, these are the political parties that they should be deregistered. It's just like churches. Today, I cannot be a Roman Catholic church Tomorrow I wake up, I'm in RCZ. The other day I'm in Zion. The other day I'm in the seventh day. Then what am I standing for? Do I have any principles in the first place? Do I understand why the church I have joined is standing for? The answer is no. This is the political prostitution that we have seen in Eastern Province. I'm talking about in Eastern Province because that is where my mandate is. And the political parties that are receiving people that are defecting from this party to this party, they must be very, very careful. They must be very, very careful. For example, let me give you. If a political party believes in communism and another political party believes in capitalism, and if I'm a supporter of socialism or communism, how can I simply means wake up and become a capitalist today? I mean, it's nonsense. That is a prostitution. It's completely nonsense. Because these parties are formed under certain ideology, what they believe in. For example, PF, from the word go from East founder Michael Sata, it is a pro-poor party. That's what he has been saying. It means there are elements of communism and socialism. When you look at UPND, for example, from the time of Mazoka, the way we have understood the MMD, UPND, is standing differently from, its ideology is different from that of Patriotic Front. You get the point? So, whether you are an independent member of parliament, you are not in opposition, you are in the ruling party, CDF by law will still reach you. Now you cannot say,
if I cannot move out of my country, Zambia, to go for medication at my own expense, and I'm pulled out of a plane to say, go back home and die, that for me constitutes house arrest. I will not die a peaceful death if I was to die today without restoring PF to what it is. By the way, I've been saying to people who want me to reconcile with the president that, look, the only way we can start talking about reconciliation is for the man to begin restoring democracy. And how he restores democracy to me is by restoring the legitimate leadership into PF where we were on 23rd October 2023, where we had elected leaders like myself as president and others, including our SGs and everybody. Once he restores that, he tells his people in the civil service to say, if I cannot move out of my country, Zambia, to go for medication at my own expense, and I'm pulled out of a plane to say, go back home and die, that for me constitutes house arrest. I will not die a peaceful death if I was to die today without restoring PF to what it is. By the way, I've been saying to people who want me to reconcile with the president that, look, the only way we can start talking about reconciliation is for the man to begin restoring democracy. And how he restores democracy to me is by restoring the legitimate leadership into PF where we were on 23rd October.
Have you ever heard me answer? Stay the focus. Eyes on the ball. Because if I start quarreling on everything, let me use this opportunity to say something. We need to bury the 6th president and bury him in his home in Zambia. We need to give him a decent burial, a military burial, because he was the commander-in-chief. There's no issue of who quarreled with who. We are beyond that. Where we are is responsibility, duty, Zambian character, African values, to bury the dead. When you have issues, you discuss after burial. Even in families, that's what we do, isn't it? I brought this subject, please don't push it too much. I've just brought it to show you that the kind of stuff I'm reading on social media now, insults this way, left, insults this way, right. I want to guide the nation. Let's stop this kind of stuff. Akim, I don't believe in witchcraft myself. I don't. I'm a Christian. I'm an elder in the church. I'm Adventist. But all the body of Christ is one. We are a Christian nation. How come in a Christian nation we are now talking witchcraft? We believe in witchcraft. No. Echechi, Alepo who send the body parts. What would I do with the body parts of anybody? Really speak, let's talk sense here. What would I do with that? If I believed in witchcraft myself, in the years I was being persecuted, here in Kitwe, in Chingola, when we were almost killed in Chingola, I would have been hiring Ngangas. I have a bit of money. I would have been hiring Ngangas. I never went to Ngangas myself. In my family, the HH family, you will never find a Nganga there. I don't believe in that. We don't believe it. I'm glad that my wife doesn't. We've taught our children not to waste time. The issues, prayer. But they must work. Kubombesha. But today I'm reading every day. People are talking about who is doing witchcraft on this, on what. No. Post-mortem is a normal thing. Especially when people allege that this person was poisoned. A post-mortem is necessary. And the churches, I'm listening to what churches are saying. Churches must be part of the solution, not to be part of the problem. If you're a genuine church leader, be part of the solution. Don't put fuel on the fire, especially an artificial fire like this. Let's respect the 6th president. Let's bury him where the other 5 are lying. It's now presidency. It is now law because there was a litigation. The 6th president, when he was in office, President Kaunda died. And some family members of President Kaunda, including the late Kaweche, may his soul rest in peace, and may Keke's soul rest in peace, did not want Keke to be buried at Embassy Park. But the 6th president, when he was in charge, the one who is now, we are fighting over to bury, simply said to the family, we are burying the President Kaunda at Embassy Park. If you want, come to the funeral. If you don't want, don't come. This is the man who is lying there. He was the head of state. We all listened to him. Okay, I was not allowed to go to that funeral, but I followed it on television. And he did the right thing. I want to commend the 6th president, President Lungu, for that decision. It was the right decision. And we all followed as citizens.
6 May, that the 6th May 2026, the day the Lord has made, and we shall be glad in it. Welcome to today's broadcast. Kindly share the broadcast. Kindly share the broadcast. I last held the broadcast on Sunday, and you know, sometimes you have so many things to do, and some things happen in the morning, which is your peak hour in Zambia at 20, and sometimes I may not be available because I've got a meeting probably at 10 hours or 11 hours and I have to go somewhere. So I haven't had a broadcast since Sunday, but it gives you an opportunity to listen to others and to share the views on the other platforms. And for me, I think it's also a diversity that there are so many voices coming on scene. I saw my young brother, Joseph Mwenda, at News Diggers, other than the newspaper, he has introduced a podcast, Mind Your Business, and I'm following it. Well done, Joseph Mwenda, and you've had great guests so far that you've heard. I have seen Kalemba is introducing a podcast as well. This is important. We should have diverse views and opinions to make you, the viewer, make an informed opinion in every space. Go to every platform so that by the time you've consumed your news, you'll have a balanced opinion on our country. I'm not one who says only listen to my podcast or don't listen to the other podcast. No. If JJ Banda has a live program on Facebook, please go there. It is very important that we gather all these views for you as a voter to finally make an important announcement. The issue of elections will still be, I think, the biggest issue here, because it's a standing issue until we have elections, and the dynamics around elections will be important to communicate. The EU has submitted, I think they want a budget of about, they will support Zambia to a tune of something like $5 million, but they've given Zambia conditions. If you want us to give you this money, your election must be democratic, your elections must be credible, your elections must be transparent. They must be free and fair. What are these issues where you want to exclude some candidates? What's this business where you've banned the Patriotic Front through legal and, imingalato process? They've been putting pressure on Zambia that Zambia should give guarantees that it is able to offer democratic, credible, transparent, free and fair elections. The president has announced that he will ensure and endeavor that we'll have free and fair elections. But how can we have free and fair elections if the PF is not on the ballot? How can we have elections with these schemes you have that I'll be discussing in detail to bar certain candidates? How will it be free and fair? And then we'll be discussing the issue of unity and opposition unity, because there's a strong backlash. And thank you to you callers. You've been very strong on all our candidates that have come to this forum. Unite, stop your egos. Look at someone who will win you an election. He may not be the best candidate, he may not be the most intelligent candidate, but look at someone who can win you an election. And thank you to you. I have seen various statements by various political leaders who are now saying, no, we are willing to work. We are willing to work. I had Honorable Harry Kalava here, Citizen First President, last Friday, and he stated unequivocally that he's willing to stand, lead, or be led. He says, I have made this very public, that I'm willing to lead and I'm willing to be led. I think that's a very high mark commitment. And he says he has been to see every leader, nearly every leader, both in the PF and outside the PF, and that he has been to their homes to discuss this issue of national unity. I had Dr. Fred Membe and Dolika Banda here, and Dr. Fred Membe made it very clear that his Congress had directed him to go into an alliance, and not just to lead, but also to be willing to be led. Also, that was very, very, very good commitment from Dr. Fred Membe. And he says, even this late hour, we can negotiate. The position is still empty. They are not lock and key. Phone and SIM card with Dolika Banda. He says, if there is an attractive agreement here, we can abandon what we've agreed. Dr. Membe said, even Socialist Party has shelved its fundamental program and is going with the the People's Forum program, which is more diverse, which is less ideological. And the Socialist Party says, to that extent, I have and I'm willing to succumb to yield to the demand of his Congress that told him, go and form alliance, go and be in an alliance, gather with your colleagues in the opposition. We saw my dear brother Brian Munduwile issue a challenge to all the major opposition leaders, and he named Citizen First Honorable Harry Kalava, he named KBF, he named Dr. Fred Membe. He says, come, we discuss. And he was a group led by Muhavi Lungu. He was receiving them to Tonse Alliance. So, Mwebantu Bakwalesa, your pressure is working. Keep on mounting that pressure. Tell these leaders in no unequivocal term that you must unite. I'll be hosting Makebi Zulu on Sunday, and I hope also that he can make similar commitments as other leaders have made serious commitment. And talking of unity in the opposition, it should not just be a matter of posturing. In fact, you opposition leaders, we want, by the time we see you before cameras, come with an agreement. We are tired of seeing you pictures shaking hands or having coffee together with no yield. And yet ECZ is showing that 25 of you have paid 25 of you have paid. So no more posturing, no more pictures. For sure, our people will not be fooled anyway. Go into proper agreement and only come to the public when you've got an agreement. I think that has been a rallying call here. And there are parameters. Who's strong? Who can win us? Who can escape these mingalatos by the PF? Who has less chance of being stopped? Because President Hakainde Hichilema is determined, very determined, to ensure that he knocks out very strong political opponents. And this is the time. And even the calendar, the way they've made it, the filing of nominations for MPs and councillors, mayors and council chairperson, at the same time with the president, gives no room for independence and gives no room for someone to hop from one to the other. The only opportunity you have is just the next 2 weeks to agree. Because by the time he's filing in, you might have a certificate from one party and you think that you can change to another party. There might be no room. I've warned you again and again that do not underestimate that 80-year-old woman called Mwangala Zalomis. She was a lawyer for UNIP. She's handled election petition for UNIP. She was a lawyer for Dr. Kenneth David Kaunda. Mwanawasa appointed her as chairperson for the Electoral Reform Technical Committee of 2003. That laid the groundwork and the electoral process that you see now. It was done by that Mwangala Zalomis. Mwangala Zalomis, who's UPND, by doing and designing things she's not doing them out of ignorance or in defiance of the Constitution. She's doing everything to advantage the UPND. So she's using her vast knowledge and experience to do exactly what we are warning you about. Don't underestimate McDonald Chipenzi. He was president, is it executive director for FODEP for many years. So he understands the electoral process. He had an organization called GEARS, which mobilized 60,000 people to monitor the 2021 elections. And he managed that process. You don't know what they did, but Chipenzi is not someone you can underestimate. Then you have Brown Kasaro, one of the best IT personnel in the country in relation to elections. He's called across Africa and elsewhere to advise on the electoral process, especially integrating IT and knowledge of the elections. So you have a core team running elections. They brought Dr. Collins Kachaka. Similar issues, very well qualified, very well known, but moral-wise, they've been issues. Brown Kasaro, despite his qualifications, was found trying to fiddle with elections in 2016, trying to make the UPND win. So don't underestimate the infrastructure of ECZ. They know what they are doing. They know what they want to do. Even the calendars, and I'm a bit disappointed that the opposition leaders have not been very forceful on ECZ. We talked briefly about nomination fees, but that's nothing. Anyone can afford that 100,000 kwacha. And as we have seen, about 25 people have paid 2.5 million kwacha. So it's not even an issue. It's about these particular issues where they do not want political parties to maneuver, where they are being outmaneuvered using the law and using regulations. When the electoral process bill passes as an act, there it has again provisions that are favoring the UPND. They are removing security features on the ballot. They are giving powers to both ECZ and the registrar of societies. These two are being given a lot of powers to bar you, to stop you, to suspend campaigns, to determine how elections should be done. Literally defiling the provision of the Constitution. That's what they are doing. So you have a technical team that lives and breathes the electoral process. That is at ECZ. They even want to bring that Hichilema's lawyer, Zevwanji Sinkala, to beef up what they're doing. The opposition, I can lament with you that you've been casual in your approach. You have not been forceful. your numerous press conference, when I do content analysis, you say very little about ECZ. You say very, very little about ECZ. I remember, when the matters for ECO were coming up, I kept on saying, this is a political matter, it's not a legal matter. ECL will be banned by the Constitutional Court, but the Constitutional Court are looking to the country if you have political activity. If it is silent, they will bar Edgar Lungu, and it will just be another day. And for sure, the country was silenced, and the Constitutional came with a judgment barring, an illegal judgment barring Edgar Lungu from any election and future elections. Similarly, your silence doesn't help. Even when you have the knowledge of what ECZ is doing, you're quiet. Your press conferences are about yourself. Your media statements are about yourself. Every time you engage with the public, it's just about your pictures and your greetings. No content, no public pressure on what ECZ is doing, what President Hakainde Hichilema is doing. Here, we have 74 bills before Parliament. Nelly Muti today was saying, you will pass all the 74 bills, whether you will sit up to midnight and whether you will sit on Saturday and Sunday. By the time we come to May 16th, the 74 bills must have been passed. This is how they are dealing with the country and democratic institutions. They don't care about public opinion because there's none. There's no public opinion, there's no public pressure. And there's no informed debate about what is wrong with this electoral process. Let's go to the main issues one by one. This is today's People's Forum, and I'll be opening the lines very, very quickly so that you can participate. And I'm calling on public pressure. Public pressure can be created by Emmanuel Mwamba. It has to be created by you. The way, for example, you were enraged around Edgar Lungu's matter, where they stole the body and conducted an illegal opinion on harvested body parts. That kind of pressure is necessary to bring to bear on the electoral process. We just can't be reviled, outraged by selected issues. Here is an election. It's being stolen in your eyes. We are giving you the evidence of how the election is being stolen. Look at the laws they are crafting. Look at the regulations. Look at the team they've assembled at ECZ. And look at the dangers and traps they've laid for you. Should it be normal to accept that certain candidates will be bad? Should that be normal? And even when they bar 3-4 candidates, you know what they are going to say? They will say 23 others are participating. They will say this is a democratic election. Whether Muriokela is there or not, they will say it's a democratic election. Because they say, we barred those, it's not our fault, it's regulation. It's electoral process bill, it's electoral process act. They are the rules. That's what they say. You can't blame us. Blame the candidates that have been disqualified. Until you bring pressure to bear, until your narrative is around the concerns around elections, the election will be a foregone conclusion. It will be Hichilema running away with a stolen victory and all of us complaining. The time to remedy is now. The time to remedy the issues is now. I'd made an announcement that I'll discuss the Morgan Ngona versus Miles Sampa. I'll not dwell much on it because it's been overtaken by events. You are aware that the Patriotic Front took Miles Sampa to court, that he had held an illegal conference. Miles Sampa has scored some major victories because we have stated time and again that that program was a state house program to first disintegrate the PF, to put it in disarray, to put it in confusion, and to ensure that the Patriotic Front is not on the ballot in 2026. That has been our narrative from 2023, and it has never changed. The aim by President Hakainde Hichilema is to ensure that the PF is not on the ballot. It doesn't matter the iteration of events, the focus by Hichilema remains the same, that the PF should not be on the ballot. Even this EU meeting where they've pledged $5 million, I can tell you as a diplomat that this government and this is under a lot of pressure. There was a specific question, why isn't PF on the ballot? And government's answer is that no, PF balelwa febeka beka, niba PF, Miles Sampa, Robert Chavinga, Given Lubinda, Makebi Zulu balelwa. No, it has been single mandate to Ministry of Home Affairs that PF should not exist. And President Hakainde Hichilema has ensured that the judgments at first favored Mao Sampa. Later, when Mao Sampa showed Atel Ntenka, they began to favor Robert Chavinga and Morgan Ingona. That mission remains focused like that. Do not be fooled by the iteration. And today's event proves what I'm telling you, what I've repeatedly stated, that this is a State House project. Number one, Mao Sampa, like I was saying, that we took him to court. He won that case. We've appealed to the Court of Appeal because we still hold that the conference that made Mao Sampa president is not a legal conference. It's not a legitimate conference. It was held by UPND and some of our known people. They didn't meet any of the minimum standards of the Patriotic Front Constitution. And Mao Sampa has agreed with us, reneged on that matter through a consent that we agreed with him. And he agreed to restore the PF. Of course, there have been issues. The President Edgar Lungu died, but the consent agreement is there. Mao Sampa is supposed to honor it, whatever the court said. But the court ruled in his favor. And what did he do? He now ran away and declared himself PF president, ignoring the process that he was part to. Remember, he was Deputy Secretary General when we were organizing the General Conference that elected Makebi Zulu. Administratively, we said it's going to be called No Name, because matters were in court and there was an injunction from Kabwe. But the PF elected Makebi Zulu under a process that Mao Sampa participated in as Deputy Secretary General, was part of the organizers. When the matter, of course, the actual election was taking place, Mao Sampa had the funeral and he was in Southern Province to bury, I think, his grandmother. But Mao Sampa was part of that process. But as soon as he was given the judgment, he declared himself president. Says, I've dissolved the Central Committee. He appointed his own people and began to run. He has even done another thing where he has appointed Dr. Chitalu Chilufya as presidential candidate. Who elected Dr. Chitalu Chilufya? The PF elected Makebi Zulu. So on this matter, it's internal. I'm part of it. I don't know if it's too late for the seniors that are in PF to speak to Mao Sampa. But what I can tell you is that he ran away and he started waiting for the Court of Appeal injunction that Morgan Ingona had obtained. And when Morgan Ingona's injunction today failed, we saw the celebration by Mao Sampa. And he rushed to even the party secretariat to claim the PF, even when he knows where the PF is. He knows the role of the PF under Makebi Zulu. But he wants to use this success, so-called legal success, to do all this. The judge, and I had warned in one of the charts, stated why Morgan Ingona's appeal failed in the Court of Appeal. The three judges said, therefore, the appellant, having not made the application first in the High Court, it is incompetently before this court and must be dismissed. Why did they dismiss the injunction by Morgan Ingona? They said Morgan Ingona, as soon as he made the appeal before the High Court, before Judge C.C. Zulu, he should have also obtained an injunction there. They said, we see no evidence that he applied for an injunction there. He put in a notice of appeal, wanted to stay the judgment. The Court of Appeal says, we haven't seen any application. So for this reason, because you are supposed to appeal before the same judge to obtain the injunction that he sought to stay the judgment. Unless that fails, that's when you come to us. That is their ruling. And what did Morgan Ingona do today? It's like this whole process is scripted from State House. The Court of Appeal is reading this judgment that Morgan Ingona should have obtained this High Court order here, which was given by a single judge, not here. He should have obtained it before the lower court. 3 hours later, Morgan Ingona has an injunction through that same judge, the same judge who handled the matter, Concepta Chinyanywa Zulu, issued an injunction to Morgan Ingona to restrain Mao Sampa from dismiss him. Why is that important? Because Morgan Ngona is Secretary General. Can therefore Morgan Ngona sign adoption certificates for PF members? He cannot, because Morgan Ngona and Robert Chavinga claim that they're in a UPND alliance. In fact, his acting president, Robert Chavinga, has even crossed over. He has joined the PF. He's among the over 11 MPs that have joined the UPND. Robert Chavinga is among those MPs that have joined the UPND. So that is what has happened today. Briefly, Mao Sampa celebrated that the PPF is back to us. But when I read the details of the judgment, I said the trouble is it has referred Morgan Ngona back to the High Court. By today or tomorrow, Morgan Ngona will have obtained an injunction. And before an injunction was given to Morgan Ngona, and we are back to the same status. We also have an appeal process through Raphael Nakachinda, because we have objected to this judgment by Chinyawa Zulu, who stated that the conference held by Mao Sampa was legal and legitimate. We've refused that it was not. Otherwise, we'll have defiled the PF constitution. So we've appealed. Second matter, what's happening to Makebi Zulu, and what does he stand in all this? So the PF, after the crisis of PF Tonse Alliance, you remember it, where Brian Mundubile ran with the Tonse Alliance, under the leadership of then Given Lubindas, decided that the PF Tonse as created would transform to PF Pamosi Alliance. And the PF Pamosi Alliance now has new president in Makebi Zulu. And Makebi Zulu, under that party, they've picked a special purpose vehicle called Resolute Party, under which Makebi Zulu and PF candidates will stand. I think they are supposed to do a launch this weekend, a launch of Resolute Party by the PF Pamosi Alliance as a special purpose vehicle. Remember, the Tonse Alliance as a special purpose vehicle in FDD. The PF Tonse Alliance at the time, we had picked NCP as a special purpose vehicle. We later picked FDD, which with Tonse has remained as their special purpose vehicle. So the PF Pamosi Alliance, because I've seen a lot of ignorance on social media, they keep on saying Makebi Zulu has defected to Resolute, but no, he has not. What we have done is not different from what we did where we picked NCP as a special purpose vehicle, where we picked FDD as a special purpose vehicle. Currently, the PF Pamosi Alliance has picked Resolute Party as a special purpose vehicle to participate in the elections. We'll hear when Makebi Zulu comes here on Sunday, we're going to question him. What is the response by your members? Are they willing to go on this new special purpose vehicle? After NCP fell away, after FDD fell away, now you have Resolute Party. If your members, if MPs, councillors, council chairperson and mayors accepted this, we're going to ask Makebi Zulu that question. Someone says, Ambassador, name the people that have defected to UPND. Yes. Sande Chanda from Kanchivia has gone officially to the UPND, and we have said their seat should be nullified even this late hour. But the Speaker will not. She says she will rule. I guess she will rule on the 16th when they are closing Parliament, where it will be totally irrelevant. And remember, for gratuities paid pro rata, meaning up to the day you have served, you don't forfeit the gratuity. So it will be a meaningless academic ruling. Besides, she wants them to pass all these 74 bills. So Sande Chanda Kanchivia, Davison Mungandu, Chama South, Marjorie Nakaponda Isoka, Jonathan Daka Chadiza, Robert Chavinga Mafinga, Livan Chiwombwe Bahati, Anton Mumba Kantanshi, Mishek Nyambose Independent Chasefu, Sydney Mushanga Wacha in Kawe, Andrew Zindlu Luvusha Chipangali, Sivongile Mwamba, my dear sister, Kasama Central, Taulo Chewe Lubansenshi Kuluingu Kuria, Michael Zondani Katambo Masaiti, and Elias Draka Msanzala. These have officially crossed the floor and they are not supposed to be in parliament. And I think this one day will haunt them. I remember when the opposition said the ministers must not remain in office. The ministers remained in office. There was a court process. It took 2 years. And an order came, pay up. You were illegally in office. Similarly, this matter is not going anywhere. Nelly Muti might think that she's getting away with it, but Ichintu Chakulom Sango you, Ichile Onaola Constitution cannot be allowed. Another matter on Mao Sampa. There's still a matter in Kabwe High Court where our party is represented, of course, by Brendan Urenda, who has since gone to Tonse Alliance, but we have an injunction together there where Morgan Ngona restrained us what is supposed to happen with the win that Mao Sampa has gotten from the Court of Appeal. He's supposed to take that judgment to the Kabwe High Court and inform it that he wants Morgan Ngona substituted because he fired him. But as we've seen, is that Morgan Ngona again has obtained an injunction back in the High Court. So thank you for that reminder. Let me go, before I open the phone lines, let me go to the issues that I had listed. I've explained on Morgan Ngona versus Mao Sampa. I've stated that the matter has been overtaken by events. I wanted to go into in-depth and give the history of this matter and where we are. It's not necessary because there's another injunction. So we are back to status quo, where Morgan Ngona stops the process by Mao Sampa. The PF Pamosi Alliance, I think I've explained, it's very simple, is that Makebi was elected as president of the PF. Remember, they had to use no-name party because of the injunction in Kabwe. So they went around it, like they would go around many issues. And the PF under Honorable Given Luwinda had taken this, said we cannot be claiming PF Tonse for Luwinda, PF Tonse for Mundubile. We are going to create a new thing. And they created Pamosi Alliance, Tiende Pamosi Alliance, simply shortened as PF Pamosi Alliance. The PF Pamosi Alliance have picked a special purpose vehicle, like they did with FDD, like they did with NCP. They've picked Resolute Party. Makebi Zulu has not resigned from the PF. He has not abandoned the PF in any way. It's still the same arrangement we had where we said, look, Ichilema has deplatformed us, but we are going to operate as PF. And we won the Petauke seat under NCP, and we won Chawama under FDD, and we nearly won Kasama under FDD. Similarly, a new political party called Resolute Party has been picked as a special purpose vehicle. There's a launch happening over the weekend, and I've invited Makebi Zulu to come to this platform to explain all these issues to the members. Someone is saying, but what happened between Makebi and Citizen First and Honorable Kalaba? Well, Makebi Zulu will be here and you come and answer. It is a wish of many members that some form of alliance must work. But like we are bemoaning, is that there is failure by our political leaders to come together, and that was my opening remarks. I hope it's not too late. We can learn to what happened in 2021. In 2021, Felix Mtati brought 1,000 supporters to the ECZ. But at filing of nominations, he abandoned the process and said he was going to support Hakainde Hichilema. Similarly, we hope that leaders in various political parties will rise to this occasion, even if they paid the 100,000 kwacha, and say, "Ao mune, wo winga sende chisendo chini we." But what will you do with our members? What will you do with us? Let us discuss. But let us emancipate Zambia from the clutches and the claws of President Hakainde Hichilema. The schemes to bar political parties. I think I had alerted you as a gathering that there was, this is almost 2 months ago, that there was a scheme to bar political leaders from participating in elections. I'd warned you that they're going to use the Registrar of Societies. They will attempt to bar independence because they're going to say there's no enough time to scrutinize you. They are going to say, for the people appearing on the Registrar of Society, political parties, and I think this is where people could have misunderstood KBF. KBF was saying they are going to pick those that are listed as presidents on the Registrar of Societies. I think he didn't say it properly. What he should have said is that independents may face problems or candidates sponsored by a political party because question will arise. For those that are appearing on the Registrar of Societies already, Registrar of Societies will simply write a letter that these ones are cleared already, because you clear them at registration of the party or at change of office bearers. Those people are cleared, whether they are bankrupt, whether they are Zambians, whether they have no issues, they've not been to jail more than 3 years. That process for the people appearing on the register is already cleared. It comes to the independents and those sponsored by political parties. For example, if a political party says it's sponsoring Emmanuel Mwamba as its presidential candidate, I am being introduced to ECZ and to the Registrar of Societies for the first time. So I need to be cleared by the system. So when KBF says they'll only pick names from the Registrar of Societies, he was right to the extent that even those, for example, who are standing as independents, especially independents or sponsored by a political party, there will be a process to clear them. And this is where we see Mingalato, where they want to back candidates. We know that, like I announced 2 months ago, that for the independents, we have seen that ECZ says even independents can file in. We have seen certain candidates file in as independents. On all the receipts I've seen, for example, Brian Munduwile, there is no name attached to him. Makebi Zulu, there is RP, meaning Resolute Party. Harry Kalaba, there is CF, meaning Citizen First. Fred Membe, there is Socialist Party, meaning is being sponsored by Socialist Party. Brian Munduwile is blank, meaning he's an independent. So I was saying, for the independents, because they've given 7 days, the process begins on 18th, ends on 23rd May, and then it will take 7 days for ECZ to come and announce to you who the successful candidates are. It's during that period that they will now scrutinize the process. Whether you are qualified, they will look at Article 100 in the Republican Constitution. They will look at those 35 qualifications that are there. They will look at the Electoral Process Act of 2016. If the new Electoral Process Act of 2026 will not have passed, they will rely on the 2026. After 7 days, they are going to announce the successful candidate. And I was warning that for the independents, they are going to claim that there has been not enough time to pursue them. For those sitting on the current register, it is easier for ECZ because it's going to say, no, he is a presidential candidate. We cleared this. Is a president of this political party, or is an office bearer of this political party, whatever the presence, is that for you to be on the register of office bearers, they will have cleared your fingerprints, they have cleared your NRC, they have cleared everything else. Whoever has formed a political party will tell you that it takes 3 months to 1 year just to clear you. I was with Sebastian Copeland here, and he said it had taken him 1 year just to change office bearers from Longoti to Sebastian Copeland. And many people that have formed political parties will tell you that that process takes a long time. And it is that process I was warning, that for independence, government is just going to claim that, Bwana, there's no time. The matters are still with the Attorney General, or the matters are still with OP. No, the matters are still with the Zambia Police. They are going to use those encumbrances to disenfranchise candidates. And if you are sponsored by a political party, again, you are like an independent. You are being introduced afresh. And they would say they would need similar time to clear your names. Now, these administrative procedures are being used not for the benefit of democratic, credible, transparent, free and fair elections. They are being used to disenfranchise candidates. And that's why I'm telling you that every time we have debate, let's have informed debate so that we can put adequate pressure on the ECZ, adequate pressure on President Hakainde Hichilema to compel him that scrutiny of me as a Zambian, whether I've been to jail, whether I'm a Zambian, whether I've been to, I've never been bankrupted. It's a matter that can take 2-3 days. There can even be a plea clearance. I think I'd warned when we learned of this meeting with ECZ. I had said, can you, for example, persuade ECZ, as soon as you pay the 25,000 kwacha, the 100,000 kwacha, ECZ takes it upon themselves to do a plea clearance so that at nomination you are accepted. And the decision by ECZ to say after filing of nomination to take 7 days to declare you as eligible or not is illegal. It's not in the law. The ECZ are supposed to get your documents and declare you whether you are eligible or not there and then. Look at the 2015 elections. Look at the 2016 elections. In fact, if you remember in 2016, Hichilema went with about six running mates. If you remember, there was Nevas Mumba, there was GBM, I think there was Maul Sampa. Once I got to my envelope. Why? Because ECZ as the returning officer was going to look at the document and say, because remember there was a new issue of grade 12. GBM, you don't have a grade 12, so you are disqualified. There was that fear. So Hichilema Ilena Isokela with 6 other candidates. So if GBM had been disqualified there, he was just going to pick maybe Nevas Mumba or Mao Sampa or Felix Mtati as a second running mate. You remember what happened in 2016. So the decision by ECZ, you file in nominations and you are made to wait for 10 days is illegal. You're supposed to file in your nominations and they declare you whether you've successfully filed in or not. Like I was telling you, Mwangala Zalomis knows the electoral process to the latter. That's why she can devise this method. Why is she devising this method? Because when you come for filing of nominations, you come with thousands of your supporters. And imagine your candidate is declared that he's not qualified. There can be mayhem. The city can be brought down. So she's very, very, very clear. She wants you to go back with your supporters. You should be in your home, at home alone, when she's making this announcement. But that decision, that administrative decision, is not supported by any law. In the comments, tell me if there is a law that supports Mwangala Zalomis to say she will declare after 7 days. Tell me. It's these things I'm warning you about, where they want to disenfranchise candidates that will be sponsored by a political party, candidates who do not appear on the registrar of societies, but will be sponsored by any political party. They can do this to Makebi Zulu. They can do this to Chanda Katoto. Because what questions are they going to ask? They can do this to Brian Munduvile. Because let's take, for example, of my dear brother, who's not political in this case. Because if I take the example of Makebi or Munduvile, you are going to take it. And Bachanda Augustine Katoto Munjeleleko, but it's a good example. Pep has adopted Chanda Katoto as his presidential candidate. Chanda Katoto has even done a noble thing. He has recognized that the law says by him accepting this, he's no longer a member of the Patriotic Front and he's no longer an MP of the PF. He has even resigned from parliament. But let's take this example. ECZ is going to ask Registrar of Societies to clear Chanda Katoto. What will the question that Registrar of Societies is going to ask? It's going to call Mr. Sean Tembo. Mr. Sean Tembo, you've written this letter to invite Mr. Chanda Katoto as your presidential candidate. Did your committee sit, did your general conference sit to adopt Mr. Chanda Katoto as presidential candidate? Or if you wrote the letter alone, does your constitution that is registered with us give you powers to do what you have done, whether you've unilaterally picked Chanda Katotowe as your presidential candidate? That is what ECZ, that ECZ and Registrar of Society will do. And if you look at the electoral process bill, it's empowering ECZ to even ask those questions. That's why they want an SG that is registered with them, an SG and president registered with them who can sign the adoption certificate. And before they do that, those two people must be cleared with the Registrar of Societies. All these tricks are being done. And they're just going to say it is a law. It is not me. It is the regulations. It is not me. Mwangala Zalomes will say it's just your regulation, your people in parliament. Your people's parliament made these laws, made these regulations. You can't blame us. You can't blame us if you didn't have a general conference. You can't blame us if your general conference was not accepted and adopted by the Registrar of Societies. Mwebantu wa Kwalesa, we have an issue in our country. We should ensure that whoever is eligible to participate, participates. But it will be our duty to say, Mwebo Basala Bonse, we now come together and give us a leader. That should be another matter. They should not take advantage of the greediness and duplicity of everyone who wants to stand and to stop them. No, it's not ECZ or Registrar of Societies issue. That is a people's issue. Our people must say, no, you cannot stand in 25. But I'm also very comforted by what happened in Malawi. There were 16 candidates and people just went for one old man. So it doesn't matter how many you are. If you don't want to listen to our advice, the people of Zambia in their wisdom are going to pick one candidate and support that candidate. Liminavovo tukachite pano pa EMV aini. Navo tukesesa la fie umo. Nangubaka be 25 tukesasa la fie umo, then we run with that candidate. Mwebantu wa Kwalesa Ngafueniko, let's have now this conversation. You can call and let me hear your contributions.
Have you ever heard me answer? Stay the focus. Eyes on the ball. Because if I start quarreling on everything, let me use this opportunity to say something. We need to bury the 6th president and bury him in his home in Zambia. We need to give him a decent burial, a military burial, because he was the commander-in-chief. There's no issue of who quarreled with who. We are beyond that. Where we are is responsibility, duty, Zambian character.
We have our first caller. Caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contributions.
Anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Information mwatupela tatwale tontoka yapone kwa samoneke famsangwefu but ine chintu chile mpapusha chakwe bati aba bantu naba muno kwe bati situation yo kaiwemi nero bale yimira mabaga bale randa tino ine mina find mina batale mune filisa kuntanshi nero bamwamba mwali babuno kwe bati mune batana inform kubeba no kubeba kwe bati if filisa o fyonse fe mulanda filisa mukupita bati still very big of each mochi. Tulomba bamwamba ababantu tatubapera 48 hours. Tataba tupere fe turefa abamwamba twala konke fe mukalanda. O tukasupporta niyo because kushuba bati if you case afa ababantu betule mono twa independent taba kabapere chance ya kwimini. Yo chena chishinga bamwambe ko muliranda. Tuchumuna chireisa bate chuchurero mbacha kwe bati TNE for Zambians to pushing a issue of Ivo Yakuta. Eloma MPs, ama recycled MPs, our Fuma, from PF, UPND. Turo Mama Costu, Soko Fuma, Tevaku vote, our van two, Tavimino of Swedish Havan, 2 minutes a pay to Maria, the family. Bamamba, taking down the sun, the king of Ambalan.
Thank you very much. Thank you. The line is open and you can make contributions to the discussions that we are having today. The lines are open. You can make your contributions. Let's hear you. Let's hear your contributions. Please don't make a video call. Just make an ordinary call. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and make your contribution.
Thank you, Ambassador. I choose to remain anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
First of all, I would like to thank you very much for what you are doing for the country.
Thank you very
We
much.
are now, I would like to get a clarity on the position of Honorable Makebi Zulu. Are you able to assure the viewers that the RP, the details of Honorable Makebi are appearing on the Registrar of Society? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and make your contribution. Hello. Just a minute, my dear sister. Just a minute.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Ambassador. Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. Make your contribution.
Okay. I just have a few questions, Ambassador.
Yes.
I have a few questions, Ambassador. Thank you for the time that you always give us. I will remain anonymous for now.
Yes, anonymous.
I have like maybe 4 questions that I want to ask. And these questions are directed to Miles Amba. I know you will say he's not here, but he should be listening wherever he is. And the people of Zambia will also listen. I think for me, I'm very happy the way you've explained on the misinformation that people have gotten concerning Makebi Zulu, because people have been saying he has formed a party, he has defected from the PF, and I'm glad you explained that in a very simple way, which is very good. However, I have the following questions. When you look at the Patriotic Front that Miles Sampa keeps on tossing to and fro, are we going to say that when the late Michael Chilufesata formed the Patriotic Front, did he say that it was for the family political party, or it was a party for patriotic Zambians? He should learn to answer those questions. That was not a family party, but it was for patriotic Zambians. That's why you see that most patriotic Zambians are with the Patriotic Front. The second question, Ambassador, that I'll ask him is what happened to his party which he formed, which was United Democratic Party? Why did he leave his party and come back to destroy the PF? The other question is, he should bear in mind you can never auction a party which you claim your uncle formed if at all he had respect for his uncle, who is Michael Chilufesata. May so his rest in peace. For me, I think Miles, when he came and did seek forgiveness to the late ECL, I was one of the people who refused and said, let's not accept him, because, Ambassador, maybe most people didn't know that. Miles Sampa, at a time, he was a loner. He remained alone. So he didn't know how to fight for the PF when it went to court. So now he wanted to come back and get the sympathy from everybody. And when they felt that the party has been given to him, he decided to go to default setting and sell the party. And today, some people have said it, he has delivered to where he wanted to sell it. So we'll call him for who he is and let him not confuse the Zambians who know that the PF Pamoza Alliance was formed, and under that, they elected Makebi Zulu as the presidential flag bearer, and that we are going to run on the Resolute Party. It's simple and straightforward, no problem. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you very much.
Ambassador.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I will remain as anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contribution.
Vamamba wesimwa wombeni mkwai.
Endita mlishani.
Awe ndife wino mwe.
Endita.
the first thing, Mwamba, I am speaking as a person who wants to stand as a councillor.
Okay.
Yes, and I really wanted to, or I really want to stand as a councillor and party. Then here is a confusion we have at the ground at the moment. We have Batonse. Again, we have Resolute Party. We have Vamao Sampa. Are you with me?
We are listening, my brother.
Yes. What is happening on the ground? As I am trying by all means to look forward to gain support, so that at least I can have support for Resolute Party. Once you sit down with the community will say no. PF yadi anaba munduye. Once you sit down with the structure of that PF who are claiming to be Munduvire, they are like, what can we do? You can't stand as a councillor. So since we have got this structure at the moment, we are not going to support you. Not until you support this person. Honestly speaking, looking at all things at the moment, we are in a mess. Not the level whereby we are thinking to say, I think these people, they can unite today or tomorrow. There is a mess, total mess, whereby people, they are very much confused. At the end of the day, what will happen, your ambassador, you will find that most of wards or constituencies, you will find that takwakabe ba opposition, because kwalingira like batonse balebe poko kwati no muri batonse muri ba Munduvire, muri ba Makebizulu, muri ba Arikalaba, they are trying to confuse all system, whereby we are in a mess, ambassador, and honestly speaking, we don't know. Actually, it's even better to give up, say maybe better we forget about these elections.
That is the intention of Hichilema. He sowed this seed to have this confusion you have, to confuse our people. PF is dead, PF is not dead. No, PF is with Makebi. No, PF is with Munduvire. PS, that is the purpose. PF is with Mao Sampa. That is the purpose. Thank you very much, Councillor. No, continue to listen to the program. I'll provide some guidance.
Oh, please, let's pay attention and can you guide us properly? We have this confusion. It's the total confusion, I'm telling you.
Thank you. Uncle J, please tell us your name and where you're calling from. I think this is Uncle J.
Yes, it is. Thank you. I really appreciate, what you've actually put out. That is actually correct. That is my concern right now. Is the laissez-faire kind of approach that the opposition has taken. When we've been calling for unity, we are calling for unity. It's not just about standing as a president. There is more to it. It is the coordination that needs to be there in filling in, positions in terms of MPs, councillors, putting up together resources that will help to have security for the election throughout the country. There is no position. Looking at the way UPND have crafted this coming election, it is so much against an opposition political parties. So no opposition political party alone can actually manage to harness all the votes throughout the country, they need to come together to put up resources together. It's not just standing as a president. This is what we are calling for. It is a united voice standing up against CCZ. That is what we are calling for. It is a voice that is going to say no to what is happening at Parliament. But as long as they are divided in this manner, it is easy for the government to maneuver and do whatever they want to do. That is why we've been calling for unity. Maybe they will understand when we speak like this. So unity is not just about a president, standing. No. An election is huge. There's so much that is involved, for an election to take place. Time is not with them. They should understand this. All these are our leaders. There is no time. And every minute that goes, they are busy crafting deals. If really there was serious opposition, Nelly Muti wouldn't have it easy. But they have it easy because, like you said, no one is talking. It's business as usual.
Thank you, Uncle Jay.
Lastly,
Yes.
Ambassador, let me conclude by this. I looked at, it's a question that I wanted to ask because this big conference that should have taken place in Zambia, it had a lot of economic benefits. What is it, since this government represents us and they do things for the benefit of Zambians, can they come to the citizens and tell them what benefits is there for the country, for them having cancelled this? What is it that the public, or because, hotels were going to benefit, the transport sector, tourism was going to benefit from this. Even Zambia was going to be on the world map. What is it that is come out of this cancellation? Can they tell us as a nation, we did this is what we've lost, or this is what we're going to gain, or if there is an alternative, if China has promised them a lot of money, I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us your contribution. Honorable Mumbipiri, make your contribution, my dear sister.
Thank you so much. Ambassador, mwachirabako bamwabachita defect to the ruling UPND. Independent member of parliament bachibuye abakuluansha, one of the constituencies Kuluansha, na remember Mutare.
Yes.
Member of Parliament for PF for Chitambo.
And someone has reminded me even Kaumbwe.
Naba Kabumbwe, my dear brother-in-law. Mwanza, Dr. Mwanza. Bamwamba, I haven't lost hope. And maybe because I'm talking to a lot of stakeholders. And what people are saying is don't give them AMA ideas all the time openly. I'm one of those people who is talking to a lot of stakeholders and our leaders to unite. I'm sure you are aware that I even announced to say, since there is a new constituency which has been created, Kuno Kuchongwe, and Konjikadira, there are 10 words. Munonjikala Tandabale, Ukukwaba University, Madido, Kasisi, Kanakantapa, I can name all of them, and I started mobilizing. And I'm sure abantu abengi bala for podcast yenu, Ukweba have been told by stakeholders that the country needs me. Why should I confine myself to a constituency? And I agreed. I'm going to support whoever is going to come to this side of Chongwe. And in them, Fiala Bomba. We can't reveal a lot. Elwabale ikunkunsha pachifuba. abale imonat kamufyebena abashiri genuine, they are going to get a shock out of their lives. Because some of these candidates of ours, if they can't listen from the church has told them what to do. Who can't listen from our chiefs? What can people do? But I can tell you, whoever thought Nanguva government abamona ati they can do whatever they want their way. Did they ever think that kutwafika lero pano ba Edgar Lungu tatulabashika? He planned how it was going to be and everything. Has it happened? It hasn't happened. And me, I'm just aging people. Alamuchite relax ababantu ba mingalato. And I'm sure a lot of people know that ine dalande chishinka. And in Gofondanda, Silesa Mukuchitika. Na lelanda, pani mausampa, temuku mwalandirepo. Ata mpiro kuikunkusha pachufuba. And me have no apology. Because aita mpire ukuikunkusha pachufuba bashimwamba. Bijabasata bafuira tuweba chipa ni chaba yama. Ngani fofweba upokuba kuchipata bala yumfwa no kuyumfwa. Balalanda tuwadia kake adibe mulando. Simply meaning, idia party na ngwayo naula. Maustare posa kona mano kai niba yama wakweba pangira dituweba publicly so. Ndebwe keshapo. Bashimwamba, you know very well that me I started when Maus did that. It was after I came out of prison. Na landa sent to Bonshe party imbi. Abantu tabale umfa. Mwaleva po sometimes when I was saying that.
No, you have been very consistent on that from 2023.
So no, le lolo muntu engalandati tulande na Maus tuchite negotiate. If Maus wanted to negotiate, as you rightly said, it was part of the process. Baluinda badi musadide as SG, a deputy SG, which I was myself, I think for over 4 years. Nishi, abelele part of the process, didiyaba muwese shapati, aya pera bachitalu chirufia. Abantu nangu balera ndachitwe foku ba confused, tureba confused. Ushekwe na mwe bantu nangu tamulolesha. Amwaishi batu bachitalu chirufia, aba ile hanika pachifuba kura, paka suba kurari aba UPND. Can you doubt? Can you doubt that? And ask yourselves, why is Chavinga quiet? This is all looking like it's planned, but as I conclude, I can assure you, Filiafine, abale monatu bali kwata sana amaka, bakashika balungu fyakanga. Nesifine pantu leadership yourself makuliresa. And I'm repeating again, baka indenga baka wina. Inchilesa nasuminisha. But the way I'm seeing things, people are quiet. Benda muvumfi solo. Limotu ya mkukumana, ulea kufamu kukana kantapa, mwakumana. Ulea kuisa mwakumana. And when people are speaking passionately so, a leader, abengi, banto watabale tontonkanya no kutontonkanya, I can assure you, ala chita image. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayo. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador Nwamunkonge.
Bamunkonge mabombe London poyama.
Kwa Ambassador mumpere kona namba abama yokwali babantu kuchongwa bafwa yokumonwa. Imbikitiba abamona kwa abantu bese.
Okay.
Ambassador in a first station ala balira kulanda pali ba President Makeb Zulu. Ba Brian Mundubiro nde barombako. Brian Mundubire nga baleeyita unit bali erya list baleebiika ati unit beera abiikapo bwa President Mukebe Zulu 1-2 tekisuma Brian Mundubire baaliishibwa okwebati nga paaliwo omuntu wa kitamen 10 unit ni Mukebe Zulu nombo yalinga muko wakulinga kibiri nakambi balilandira okwebati wa Mukebe Zulu ndebeeta ine ndebarumba kwa ambassador Bamundubire tebeni baliishibwa na PF okwo yafuma na status ya PF okwo eri pali ino nshita baliishibwa ne fintu bakita so okuyilinganya kumo tekusuma bafuire baberera komwa ekyoluse Bamundubire baliisha ekipani umwabe nkito ikulu PF yali kwatama structures countrywide nokulanninga ama affairs ya PF nokulolesha pama court cases aya bamausampa nama cases nambe abantu aba PF obo bakaka fyonse fyaba pakati kakwe ifye file pilimulo kwebati aba percenta ya unit nomba bena kuloko baba bashe nkito ikulu bashe ama problems ayengi pakati ka PF but baya kulya ma problem with solve ya PF kuranga zi unit babutukira ama structure yo babutukira harvest ya PF ma structure abantu ba PF balirolera abantu abashimupasho basata bashire but Bamundubire tabarande chinka nga barafa unit kora kuma structures ya PF nga bararande chinko kwebati bane ina ninsara poko ya ku FDT mwe barefo konkonka nkonkeni imwe bareshara mu PF ba PF bali sare ntungurushi makepi mwa icho wandi so mwe barefo kubana makepi mushare mu PF then ama papers yali sanswa kwamba nakale na mausampa nomba bena bali kula kuma structures kula kumishi abantu baratweba tababebe chinka kulia bali stari present pakata ama structures kwati bali mu PF but ngabaisa kuno tapawa problem iri yonse yo basolve ya mu PF takwa bali bonse abakakwa kuba mu kwiminina ba mu PF mu PF structures emwe aba lawyers aya pitano okumona twala afashana abantu bezo ukwikara pamona ba Mukebe Zulu baramona na ma opposition parties yambi aya shara nomba vera chitanga baikara pa meeting yabo bale pundoko bati ndeita Mukebe Zulu chibi sana umwa chenga ali bapero muchinji bafure bampero muchinji beraranga kucharo kwati mbeba ishiwa unit it's not good Mukebe Zulu arefu aesho kubika bena Zambia muinshira because the PF structure which means Zambia yaona ikirira it is the only largest opposition party so we hypocrites waba Mundubire bareke twapapata mwalisha PF lekeni abashara mu PF basolve ama structures kwebati ababa ishire ba human rights ambassador babakanya Iran kana conference ya ranikane cyber rights techi baitsumishe because mwa Zambia already bari tupoka democracy because democracy mwali bama isosere nomba ma isosere it's against na cyber ethics so ila conference bamunkonge abaletuma bafula bamunkonge against na government of yachita
lekeni mbaputuleko bamunkonge abaletuma bafula Alokora, please tell us your name. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
I'm anonymous, and where I'm calling from, I'll conceal it for a purpose that I need to protect myself.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Yes. Ramwamba, my contribution is that why is it so difficult? This question is going to Mundubire. Why is it so difficult for him to let go of the PF? To let go of the PF structures? He has chosen FDD. FDD, they've got their own structures. Okay. And then naisa kuli Bachitalu Chilufya. Bachitalu Chilufya is a learned man, but he has no shame. Sorry to say so to an elderly man. Bachitalu Chilufya balia ikala basumina ukuyaku a non-party convention inaba makebi. Balusa, bakwisho kulusa, he goes and accept the invitation by Maus Sampa. And now, Fidiafi Neftitike Bangona, via Kukoti, Baba Pera in another injunction, Nile Saonsolia Levalopola. Nile Saonsolia Levalopola, because Maus Sampa he withdrew from standing as a president. Okay, when he withdrew to stand as a president, automatically the Patriotic Front wasn't going to have a candidate. Nomba bena baya senda Bachitalu Chilufya baya babika drive candidate so that the party can go complete muminwe yaba UPND. Because even Bangona, if there wasn't anyone who had paid in the name of Patriotic Front, Bangona, they were going to be advised by their sponsors. Their sponsors to say, there's no need of PF here because Tawari Pira, they are not going to be on the ballot. They just want to be bringing confusions where they are not supposed to be confusions. It is very much unfair, and God will continue punishing them.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contribution.
Good evening, Mr. Mamba.
Good evening.
Okay, good evening. Mamba, first of all, inena ala kuliba mausampala Bachitalu Chilufya. Aba di kweta ma plan. Mwama mausampa, ewa aleta ma problem mu PF. Baba mausampa chavinga ngona. Beka mwama nefchita lesala chita expose ababifi. Ala basokolo loku baleta fe pabwe du mwe bantu mwala imwena fe. Apa, nilesa aletu afaba mwamba. Lesa na turuira. Ale bafati mumoni otupondo tunga tubiri twalipa musalaba twaba tutatu. Uyu mouse sample oyu. Ubwafuma kukoti kuja babe batiyo bawina. Bawina takwate pepa chabana chavingo mubaluiro munanko munana waya kulya. Mwamuna sekasi elo kukutushinga mingala pesha ko bati tube confused ifwe tube acho PF yaso kunaba mumushi bae bomfwefi. Abantu balifika pa another level ba mwamba. Abantu epo bafika pa kwebati nga ukapita fe kuma nomination apita ngabachinga bakuchinga tukamuna tinu eko tukayanga fifine mwachilanda ati eko tukawirira bonse tukatita nomba ni flat out epo afika abantu kaini mingala to yaba UPND naba ishibe balechita naba ishwa so bali unuma osampa bali ukwati obale bofya bala mubonfya ero babula na Bachitalu Chilufya ko to bastetekela shani bala badile papa wa palwangala katete ati bali ku UPND bali pera na speech nomba bangesa tiyo eba PF bakeminine foni sto alipofula nempofu kuti yawo mfwa fe kuishiwe na twatotela kuti lesale twali loko bachita expose fifine bantu ifotembera twabelamo elo nomba twaisa kulifira mwachira toba amakadidenti ali 25 amakadidenti ali 25 yambia ma independent takaisange mufwefwe chikaba ni finefi bamwambelo mulalondolola bwino sana busha bamwamba teti mukwete chance ya kuimilina kwa president mwaisa bwela pantu mwechalo mwachibika fyapa bamwamba mwalibombele sana kuisopya mwalibombele sana bamwamba kufyo mwabomba media fyeka fye imwe ni porridge ero chalo mwalichishwa bwino na makulu kuyonse mwaliyeshi but that's why bamikonka balishi bati uyu ni big brain think tank ina kubika tu a think tank pantufyo mulanda nga mwatuweba aturatola mu 5 wa mwamba
Natasha
mule tusula mabreni ifo pa ground tulite bwino intact tabatu fulonganya polisi tapteti kutali twafumala twalikosa
Kao chachini. Mwiluba Palast, Mwiluba. Thank you, my dear sister Didi from Mundola. Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, Mama Newe Emmanuel Ndet Mina Mundola.
Wa Mashina from Mundola, make your contribution.
Wa ambassador no kumona kwandi. Ayama election ba PA former members wakatuchita sana cost. Because if you want to everybody ngire bachita set of mafedi no kadi fina fomu mwachalo ndolola. Mwamona because ba UPN we na po bade bombera bade butuka sana ma plan yabo kuchintisha tu muntu wonso wa MPF. Taringira swanga pa ballot paper but wena batina abashara. Ero problem ndukote kwati kuti aba bera badi mukati abade bombana ba UPN. So inekuti mwana kwandi ba mwamba. Kafrafine libonse fo baranda. Bushe pa mapati yonse omulemo na. Tekwa ko party mofe ya kumanisha fe vyonse. Because ngatwa turodekeshe ngana mwarosha party abakara party yabo yali bafefe yonse intact but mwari twalifirwa fe ku mafuga mukula support nanguma by election yonse twale kwata twale amkula tola mapati akwati ala mapati at B3 PF yafumana MPF ba support na UPND but mapati yeno tulefati yakatu support but ngatwalola kutwafuma kuno mwasangati amapati yali support na UPND pakti UPND wene Karaba after resign mu PF. Karaba I refer direct quiet my election umwena wako tala ndapo ifishonse pati PF. But twarifurafi ku tufume fe mchumi. Tuiche fenokana tawo katumwafu efi to support. So ati tumone foto walaenda. Tumone foto tuinga chitanaba neso aba mfifungo na bambi abashara. Nomba ifinga tuamboka tondoa fya kwati tuamboka tondoka shaparweso. Ifwewe ne wa PF ifwewe wala chita cost. Kwati nangu ni UPND kateka again.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I've got two more callers waiting. Let's start with this one. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Good evening, Ambassador. My name is Concerned Citizen.
Concerned Citizen, make your contribution.
Yes. Thank you very much for your very insightful analysis with regards to the challenges that we're facing. My view, however, perhaps I'm a bit naive, is a sense of optimism. And the sense of optimism that I have is the sense of disaffection that people have. This disaffection is what all the combined opposition leaders or opposition channels need to really focus on and really need to ignite. Because the truth of the matter is that if we ensure that there is a large turnout, if we ensure that in our constituencies we are aggressive in getting out the vote, I do not see the UPND getting over the line at the first round of voting. Not if we ensure that we get out there and we vote. Which then gives us an opportunity at the second hurdle to really have an actual election, to really now start looking at what can become a battle of ideas and what can be something that resemble what's left of our democracy. But if the opposition band together with this one theme and say, listen, get out and vote. Vote for the candidate of your choice. But the one party, the one candidate that you cannot vote for is HH, and the one party you cannot vote for is UPND. Believe you me, it will filter itself out. There will be one or two candidates that will be ahead. And these are the guys who, in the next hurdle, must make sensible decisions in terms of making alliances and pushing forward, ushering in a new government. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Ambassador,
Mkwai, is that Mabo from Italy?
Yes, sir.
Mwebe na Italiani ilandenipo.
Tulandira mchibemba muchisungu na muchi-Italian. Kavi mutuitama Italian.
Now which Italian we can translate, Google will translate. Make your contribution, my brother.
Ambassador, my contribution is actually I want to learn from you, and I want to be more concerned. Because if we have to issue ambassador, but patriotic front loyalty, I go first. It's to the nation, meaning the citizens. But pande monaga ineni sharira ko. You remember on it was in June. Night ku Zambia, ati Nkolosha, our former head of state, the late. When I was there, Zambia, I did a PF secretariat, sign the book of condolences. That time, Council Makebi was still in South Africa, and I think he had not shown interest to run. So, Ishinanade Umpwa, now when PF secretariat, so this time, according to intelligence, what the elite of the Patriotic Front, Akadimbusha Kalanda Shan, Yadichinja Kuria wind, Yadichinja wind of change, but Makebi Zulu or Makebi and Mundu Shan. Because if we have to be serious, really, to grab power, Kuria Bavan to the reputation here, Zambia. I think all these forces, they need to work together. But when I was there in June, Zambia, last year, Akadimbusha Kadi on site. None of those I want to question. Palati, La Sike, Mauzi, Navashal. Avant Barre and Mundu Vide, then Museko Yabo. People like you, Shanshan, Avantrova, Sambidan, Avantromo, Shaish, machine. So that's a folk Shaku. So, according to intelligence, you have a patriotic front. Avantu, the nation which the party is loyal to. Because it can be.
Mabo, miafueko, mula konkama politics. Mula konkama politics. Indeed, like you are putting it, I think Mundubile was one of those front runners that even he had predicted that was one of the front runners. We're supposed to have general conference, it was postponed 2-3 times. There were issues, regulations around the running of that conference that saw the expulsion of our national chairperson, Mpankata Emmanuel, and our Secretary General, Acting Secretary General Brendan Nyirenda, and 3 other senior people were removed from their position. And before long, then we saw that Tonse Alliance removed PF led by Given Lubinda and got Munduvile. And the party issued a directive to come to the line. They didn't come to the line. It became a breakaway from the PF. And the PF then began to move until it held the general conference at which it elected Makebi Zulu as its leader. But I would like to agree with you. Ati ababantu bonse the PF wana babalungwa babonse, whether it's Munduvile, whether it's Mao Sampa, whether it's Makebi Zulu. And the normal thing is for them to come together and wapange chako sachimo. But you know the dynamics of leadership, the dynamics of ego, the dynamics of individual pursuits, that has been difficult. So mwena itali mwaisa kunoimu as mafias mulechita display ignorance naikana in your ignorance. If there is anyone who follows PF matters, it is you.
I have my own opinion, Ambassador, which you are aware, I'm sure. But
tell me your opinion. Yeah, tell me your opinion. That's what matters. Unless you were saying you were presenting a scenario like you are not PF and you want an answer and you want people to benefit from the answer. Unless that was the purpose.
Fellow interested in citizens. Then that okay, if in the country, 1, 2, 3, 4, they have 100 things to point out. But then who will come and sort them out? These people can't even sort their own internal issues. So my my very own pundit who knows these things deeply, Ambassador. So
No, the wish by all callers, by all Zambians, is that the opposition must come together. The wish is that first, the PF, Mao Sampa, Makebi Zulu, Brian Mundu, they should come together because they all draw their strength from the PF, and then to the opposition. Because the PF in its disintegrated way, it destabilizes the opposition. Then they should go to Harry Kalaba, they should go to Fred Membe, they should go to KBF, they should go to the other leaders and see how then they can come together. Watupela, one candidate. I think that's been the cry of Zambians, is that the PF should unite, then the PF should help unite the opposition, and I think that was the focus of President Lungu. That's why we formed UKA, that's why we formed Tonse, that's why now there is Pamosi Alliance. It was the same issue that has never departed. The PF must unite in light of its attack by President Hakainde Hichilema. It must be united, then it must unite the opposition, and together they must deliver one candidate.
Well noted, Ambassador.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contributions.
Hello, Marishan Mamamba.
Who's calling?
This is Wana Angela calling from Senanga, Western Province.
Wana Angela from Western Province, make your contribution.
Mkwai, Vamwamba, Netulingalandako. If you finish Mulondra, na Mulondra, we no sana. Like kuli ine bana Angela, shikwete no bofya wa defectors abari amkujoin nabo ba one dem. Echo na landire chiba mwamba because for the background for the pitamungu chushini fwebo mwamona te. So abo bakonka kofe bali temwa tabate mofwe mazambiani. So nangu bae ba join takule ko bengaya and nangu baka eminine pali yo ticket yabo kokine ba join baka pona. Terati ne bachiranda ba mayoba mumbipili. Ifo background apato atikose if ne fyo mulera ndaba mwamba ko bati ba mundu bire ne ba PF Makebi Zulu ne ba PF ichikala mbafye ni yoni tuku ikatishanya na tuishiba pali mingalato batisho mingalato shabo na tuishiba ifo bene tatwa ikarefye tondolo tule batamba vye barecha mingalato ko batubena bakuba twali okula tungu efifine mu butushe butule pitamo awe na ifo bene na tubika mapepo ko batumone aba bantu ama leaders beswe botwatemwa bamakebi ba mundu bire bekachanye so that tupange echakosa pantu istata iri na ifwe kwena lesa mukulu aletu afurisha pantu ukuchukushe botwapitamo na abufurisha pantu abali kuli ba mundu bire ni ba PF abali kuli ba makebi ni ba PF abonsa abangaba ikachanye fitu wapange echakosa nishi chindu changuka bamwamba epundera ndati ku Western Province ngata mmona bishunguruka bali mo lero bachiba uko kusoma baleto ntafya abantu tabakwete po background na ibi pamwacho pale ilandira kwe bati yo bale bakanira kwati nama MPs enu tete tubapere vote maona te bale lomba bati yo potential mwamona so echikala mbafye unity ere fwaika because ifofo wena PF ba iko twafumana PF ifefya paper ba masamba ifesha kwati twachimona tiyo baba bachita thrown out ya bangona short time apata mona dawe na bachita injunction benangona na nani kani ifo echo tulifwa yafe ni unit apa amandazebo bale mwanga kwati venga tutwala pantanshi ababene babiri ba makebi na mundubi bekale panshi natuishwa pali mingato kwena lesa mukulu ala tubula because utoshe tulepita muri new doom government na ifurisha pantu takutwa kwanishe because abantu ngabapita tukesa chula ukuthi ukapitiria pali hapa echo ningalanda kufiwa mwamba na tota.
Thank you, my dear sister. Indeed, another one posted that they saw the rally that President Hakainde Hichilema had in Kalabo, and they were saying, look at the buses and trucks at the back. You can see that those people were transported because of the transport you could see at the back. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contribution.
Bamwamba Mwabombeni.
Endita.
Bamwamba ndefo kumitasha kabili ichiwemba chitila ati mwamina muni alana kamwamina bantu tanaka imwe you have to continue to guide the nation no kusta educate all of us if you feel fashitika mu chalo chesu leso mwine akamila mbula bamwamba kuli issue imwe nga mwayikonka sana pa international fora tabeshi befleshtika the international organization and international community tabeshi bechalengele our government to cancel the conference which was supposed to be held by the Zambian government. Tabeshi wino finshi fiachitike. Nomba na fiambo kutumbuke fintu ifingifikalamba sana ichalengele government yesu which they cancel the conference on the digital and the human rights. And on these things, we have got a lot of organizations in Zambia, human rights, non-government organization, the church and other things. They are very quiet. They don't want to ask the government to explain kubekala chalo ichi chalengele ba government but stay alive on the decision of says okay to alasta postponed palas balanda to ashta cancel bafiri balondolera bena chalo chinsi chachitike because the international community ngamayasana pama platform they are so confused they don't understand what is happening in Zambia. Zambia has been celebrated as one of the Pan-African abantu bachindikishama human rights and other things. We are almost the pioneer of democracy in the SADC region. So many countries and international community don't understand. And I'm so worried about organization and prominent figures and institutions that haven't asked the government to explain. Is it because whatever is being talked about in the international media with Zambia, it was influenced by China? Zambia was influenced by, because they've identified the Chinese currency and other things. Zambia was told not to go to accept the participation of the Taiwan and other things. So as government has got a lot of things to explain to the people of Zambia. That's one. Number two, I was doing a bit of calculation or to survey. When you look about this election, we have got about 226 MP, 113 mayor and councillors, and the council chairperson. We have got 1,800 and something councillors. If you calculate on these figures, just on the nomination fee on itself, even to mobilize the people to escort these people to file in the nomination, it talks about 27 to 30 million Zambian kwacha. Now, ngatualolesha political parties and all these others who are abale yumfa kutikiva iminina. Takuri political party equate capacity ya kustefi or to organize these finances to make sure these MPs by success firing a nomination. Number, it's a papusha sana. I will take you back in 2021. Sorry to take you back in 2021. Bahari Karaba got 26,000 votes. Bamembe got 16,000 votes. KBF went with an alliance with the UPND. These are just new political parties. Now, ngamwalolesha bon sama political party ba mwamba tabako ete capacity ya kustefi ntufonse pali bena beka. Nomba icha shupa fie. Uguti fie basti understand. Beka le punch basti understand. Tatuishi ba Mazambian. Two, na lilandilepo kunu moku program yenu pasande. I want to remind the Zambian people, when the MMD formed a movement in 1991, most of the people, they were presidential material, but the ones who are MP and be part of the process. Ichicha shupa fikuli barupwa lweso. ukuthi bayichefyefye basti understand and ukwasiko obwite owamazambian babetire okwebati imwe ekaleni pamo mubombere kyapamo chimbi na papa sana bamakebi na Mundubile, they are brothers and they are so very close brothers and friends. Abantu abaishibe from 1991 office y'abamakebi eko ba Mundubile bale sangwa balandishanya bale umfwana up to 2025 nomba pali ino stafecha shupa fye kuti these are friends, very close friends. Abantu bepo with Makebi and Brian Mundubile, they are so very close friends. Even Makebi if you are a lawyer, also they are close friends. Membe ni ba lawyer. Bakala babons each are super fetibeka le punch because tabako take capacity. Bamwamba 2006 basa techalengere barusama election kuri mwana wasa tabakwanishe ugusta field ama candidates in all the constituencies paka basa tabalusa basa tabashile win my election in 2011 after basta complete ugusta feature ama candidates in all the constituencies. Even President HH who is now currently Republican president, for the time he has been losing election, Tabas trepen and threat ama areas that may not fit no ku become a candidate once every minute. So it's still a minute but Ababan to Mwamba, Mwamba Munaranda, Homu Fisolo, Baron Dololeni, Veshive script, Yakuina my election, presidential election, 30 women in the film Muntuwe, Kawai Minina, wa winner. It has got the package. Starting from the award, the chancellor is a presidential campaign. Maisa Pali Mayor is a presidential campaign manager. Maisa Kuria Star campaign for president. So when Angabale Imonokweba Panalipira Newo Chite, Kutnai Minama Zambeni, Bakamvotela. But they posted a Fiabantom Zambian. That's why Mumwene na ma defection group and deny Akura because Amazambian Shokulanda. Yes. Mamundubile invite a political party Kutuba Bombele Pamo. Whether Mamundubile the platform wino, but resistance if they have what is important is a concept. Umuntu o Amazambian Western set o vekere pokwe batiti bamusupporta ni nani echiripo Chiruba that part of the MMD, the person who was supposed to be the president was a winner. And I'm very grateful to one of the noblemen of this country was Kotawina. Umuntu wina kaunda pali inoshita ni uyu bonse bamano kasonde bamusupporta Eras Chipimo bamusupporta Humphrey Mulemba bamusupporta Edward Shamwana bamusupporta Andrew Kashita bamusupporta bonse abantu bamwana wasa bamusupporta Sata bamusupporta. It's how MMD won the election against Kaunda. If you finish tika Mozambique fee tachiwe, that's why even some of the prophets I want to acquire that there is too much confusion. Kuma opposition, katwish, nga waiche, na tatwishi wenga chifuru, that's why they're just trying to create confusion. They're not giving the election to the Zambian people. I submit.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give your contribution.
Hello, Mwamba.
Yes, caller.
Yes, Muribuino.
Tiribuino.
Ziko Mukwambi, Anonymous in Zambia.
Anonymous, make your contribution.
Yambi, nukuna utitandizira kuli amakolazi wambene wamakondo kamba pali abantu batatu pali wa Brian Mundubile, Makebi Zulu na wa pali awenangwa harikalala. So nga tukapa platform pabwera muntu amene akamba abantu batatu nipempha kwa imwe kuti muzivauza kuti osakamba chite kuti sali bwino koma abantu ava kusogoloko bazankhala pamozi abantu palino nthawi ali pa mingalato chifukwa vaona mingalato amene ili palino time kuti vakankhala chabe kuyembekezera ku one side uku ndiye kuti zinthu zingavute koma abantu ali pa mingalato so ndi mingalato pa mingalato so kufunika kuvathandizira monga ku platform ya JJ ngati kwapezeka munthu akambaza Makebi Zulu akambati osakamati Makebi Zulu sali bwino iyayi abantu bazagwirizana so tentithandizana chabe tizikamba pa unity abantu pasogolo bazankhala pamozi so wali pa mingalato monga vanzati pamene makamira ti mingala ife tichifundo cha mingalato so nawo ava vali pa mingalato so osalekerera kwama no Brian Munduwire sali bwino ine mkuona kwanga pamene ba Brian Munduwire so anachoke mu pali vanzawo ma members wa PF pano so anachoke vanali pamozi tenzo kuikonka bwino topic yakaena mpaka ba Brian Munduwire vanaona kuti wamene vaenda madezi achepa otherwise kulibe pamene zingachitike ndiye chanchita lingesa ba Brian Munduwire kuti vachoke siwezi kufuna kuchoka Brian Munduwire iyayi koma kuona madezi kuti yachepa that's why Brian Munduwire vanachokamo kuti kwamene niona ukusikuli bwino vanachokamo so ava vanasala ava ndiye kunabwa kwapezeka manje kuti Makebi Zulu apezeka kuti azi pamozi president manje yanganani uli ava vamene vanasala ava kodi kuli
Sorry, I've got more callers waiting. Sorry, the line has dropped. You can call back if you haven't finished your thoughts. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Ambassador Anonymous, Chicago, USA. Ababa kola abafumapo chimona yade kwali ba president in new party.
Mkwai.
Hello.
Yes.
Anonymous, Nebo Mest, Chicago, USA.
Mkwai.
Hii programu mwalileta mubusuma na n'omutima wonse but ngefe ababafumapo balelanda ama candidates lero mailo ali muli tonse lero ali muli another alliance tafule panga sense but nga baikala pamo insifyala chitika then bonse nomba because balefo okuba president nankuba president chimwamona ba sata rest in peace bachulile shanu but tabachitelepuna enjoy kuba president ine Makebi Zulu ocho na abana against them. One, nobody knows him. Ni lawyer twamwishi bati ni lawyer. Na ushe chitumbi cha balungu olo nomba wise nkwimini nati I'll be a party president. Then futi Mao Sampa ali lawyer Mao Sampa chimona uyuwa obabika mujele boma ni Musampa. So nga kuchimwa chitako fe encourage aba wonsefe ba isafe ba ikatana pamo nombe cho chine wonse alefu ayo butungurushi so nangu ifofwe ba kuvota twala vota shani.
Thank you. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Give us your contribution.
This is the Mwewa from Livingston.
Bamwewa, make your contributions.
First of all, ndifo kulanda nobakola bafumapo nombalini. Okweba okutira nti ubufumu bufuma kuli lesa. Tabufuma ku muntu oli wonse. Lesanga lefu afe kubumfya ewasarapo. Imyaka te problem. If you remember Queen Victoria, she became a queen at a very tender age. And she ruled one of the greatest countries in the world. So, when you look at Kaunda in Pari Bukateka na 40 years. So I can give a lot of examples. But Makebi Zulu ascending ya kubaba president wa PF. It's not that he forced his way. He won through the ballot. And he won by 49.2%. Surpassing one of the heavyweights, the supporter were given to win. He was more experienced and he had everything. But he lost to Makebi Zulu. Bashita Ruchulu Fiaba Papi Funumbia Mausampa, Narasa and Kui Mausampa. Number 2 Kuli Makebi Zulu. So for Makebi Zulu, I think for me it's a divine intervention. And before I qualify, before I want. So tell them back for but I want to pero mchinshi the will of the people. Pantobantunga baran that Takuru Muntu Ufulo Kwastaranka. So now, Wamamba problem maker and this is a very big concern which has been highlighted by a lot of people. In a way I am right now in Livingstone. What I've noted is that our structures they have not been actually our supervisors of our structures. These are the district, the constituency, and the province. They haven't been visiting the wards on the ground. So most of the wards, and this is where we are. This is where actually, for me, what I've noted is that in terms of unlocking our candidates, our structures, Pama wards, Rando Kovati, Lufia, Penya, Kumatimu Munduvile. Bamunduvile, Rando Kovati, PF. Bamunduvile, Nangwama candidates. Banaba Kovati, to Alicia Tegatibala, Minina, Padi, PF Yabama Kebizur. You discover that Javantu Bamunduvila was Ndama candidates. So, Ubafia will they are not sure who are winning, who is the presidential candidate, who is the presidential candidate for PF, who are winning a convention. So, Baranda Kovoktirati, so there is and most of these guys who are bringing these confusions, Vamamba. It is the officials at district levels throughout the country, if I may say so. Abama officials are per district. These are people mostly, Shiranda Tibonse, but most of these guys, but double-egged. Kuriba Mundubire Kovari, Kuriba Chitarutu Kovari, Nakuriba Makebi Zulu Kovari, per district. So what is needed now is that Abantu Shinka through the visitations from the constituencies. So if all the constituencies today, IRPF in Zambia, my constituency Amcharo, if they can get down to visit their wards and explain to them if Shinka on who the presidential candidate is, PF Promote Alliance, Makebi Zulu, that information is going to sink easily on the ground because PF it's an anchor party, okay? The convention that we just held recently had attracted 111 districts who participated. Tell me, Wamamba, which political party has got presence in 111 districts? So, this is where people should look at Makebi Zulu, not as Makebi Zulu, but Makebi Zulu as representing the institution. And this institution is PF, where you, Ambassador Mwamba, you are part of the structure. So with your vast experience in politics and public affairs, Makebi Zulu cannot fail when you are there because you'll be there to advise. And from what I've seen, this is a gentleman who gets a lot of advice before he makes a decision. So our opposition, PF already has demonstrated that it's an anchor party. So what we are just supposed to do is, if we fit to drop Pama ego yesu, no accept to go at it, change riding Pama structures ya kwa taka the PF. Ichikuru chiri kwa pa, ema position yo, ichikaramba chiri kwa pa, kurubule chalo. So let us ride the Pama structures ya PF to do what? To disseminate information and campaign for ourselves. And this is where I'm also saying that right now, Shishon Tunguru Shishiruma structures, Ishirore Rupio Kovat Shende, Kovat Shende Shishmoni Avantu, Shirera funding from Central Committee. I don't know now, Ngakwar Vechigavich Pangim Pia Kuria, it won't say Varela. You know, Bama politics, Ngatuka succeed. Ngatualanda to 1 Benopia, that's quite Rupia, if I opened it about what Rupia. Ukutuchira bonse bara tushita bonse ngakuya na politics ya rupia. So all onse nangudika 10 kwa cha kwete 10 tukabonfie kuri ubuntungwa. These elections bamwamba, we have to fund them ourselves as Zambians so that tukaba ko futi mu buchushu butwapitamu, especially when a candidate is sponsored by outside forces. For me, if we really want to real change, is that which the sponsor for my elections. Then the other thing, Bamwamba, but I have abantu batatu, Bamakebizuru, Munduvire, Nabashtaru Chulufia, Bamunduvire, Mabekaracharo, now we book Shefa for Minamunankan, Mupiefu. Bamunduvire became part of a team, Yatam PF Mutonsi Alliance. When Mr. Munduvire is one of the people who sat to draft the PF constitution, where PF was not going to be fired by anybody. But Munduvire went against his own constitution. He argued his own constitution, where he knew that PF is the anchor fact. So how do you trust Munduvire if he cannot honor his own constitution? So when we are looking at leadership going forward, that require leadership equate amano ya to take ayakubonfia imingalato. Instead yakubonfia mingalato kuleto buno nshikucharo, bale bonfia mingalato kupanisha abantu babo. Then Tungush to going forward. Therefore in Tungush is straightforward. So for me, Munduvire, I can call him a sellout, and he has shown that his own personal desires are greater than that of the nation. So for me, Bamundure out. When I come to Chitaruchurufia, Bafumine, number 2, Udi Makebizuru, he got 35%. And the Bachuru Century was seen, Umanari Zaba UPND. Why is it so difficult for Chitaruchurufia to support Makebizuru, the one who won, in the same party? And these are the results that are coming out of Amano Yaba Mausampa. Mausampa has betrayed the party 3 times from 2014, 2021, and 2026. But Mausampa, what you find about Edgar Lungu? Mausampa is through lighting to say, if the process in 2023, but 24th October, it was not true. Therefore, I'm not a legitimate president of the PF. He agreed through the consent. But here is Mausampa. Edgar Lungu taturabashika Edgar Lungu mubiri wabo balaiva lokumare Paula Mausampa efyamfuena ba Edgar Lungu akano kushitaona na Edgar Lungu taturashika. So Mausampa and his people that he's working with, these are sellouts. Let us discard them, and let's not even call them for unity anymore. They don't want to unite. They know the truth. Why can they follow the truth? So Vamwamba, the only legitimate to kuetoa shire through a ballot by Edgar Lungu before becoming a presidential candidate in 2014. He basa votera. In 2021, he won through the convention. Now, that's how people come to presidency in PF, is through the convention. And that's how Makebizuru became the president of PF. So, Wamwamba Fingiringaranda, but what I can say that Ama structures, Reshinka, Bamunduvire, Vachtaruchurufero, Mausampa, these are sellouts. Tien Twende Makebizuru. na papata. Thank you, Mom.
Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello.
Yes, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, Bamwamba, Mwawombeni, Nameless.
Nameless, make your contribution.
Yes, Bamwamba, yeah, you sound so exhausted, but your exhaustion is actually helping. Yeah, we are all exhausted, Bamwamba. Yeah. Well, Mr. Ambassador, I just want to get to the point without diverting. Yeah. Here the situation, the Ambassador, from what you have highlighted initially, it tells everything to let a Zambian who is willing to step out of any problem know that the hope of getting better is diminishing. Yeah. You know, Bamwamba, unity has been talked and talked for some time now. Still, the leaders seem to have a deaf ear. We don't know, maybe it's a strategy. Yeah, because of course, it's not like they can come up and tell us everything. But I just hope that they are not keeping a deaf ear. You know, if leaders aren't going to step ahead and unite, chances will be skipped because of lack of time, Bamwamba. Yeah. You know, to conclude, because I just want to be brief because everything has been talked at. We are always talking about the same thing. Yeah. I'm appealing to all of them to reflect and come up with a concrete, solution. Because we could see that we are facing, something which is not going to help any Zambian.
Thank you, Mayo. Thank you, Mayo. We'll be taking the last calls, and I'll take the last 5 calls, and I'm counting. This is 1. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Nanmasi in Zambia ndina mineneze na jui wa paja ne kambaka network. So nizaembekezera kuyamba pa mineneze na sira kuti nite kama ni kambaka time.
Understand.
So nenzo kamba ichi chakuti wa PF pamene wala na convention na ba Makebi Zulu kunalibe msokonezo after ba Brani Munduwire wachokam kunalibe msokonezo ya after Makebi Zulu awina msokonezo wa bwera. So manje tizifunsa ife kuno kuti manje pamene ba Brani Munduwire wakamba tiswana chitepo ino kuenda kuja futi veka ma MP kuno bankala futi na convention futi kwankala msokonezo manje amene aliwo ipa paninda tizifunsa manje kuno manje teka amene aliwo ipa nindani. So tuonesa kuti manje amene waleta convention kuno ni abeve sibali bwino chifukwa Makebi Zulu anasankidwa kuti ni pamozi alliance president manje kwa bora futi Mausi Sampa na eve apaswa mapapers kuti ni party president wa PF. So manje nanga Makebi Zulu bantu kwa mene azabatenga kuti pakuti Mausi Sampa alina mapapers akamba kuti ndine leader wa PF manje nanga Makebi Zulu ali party. So imwe kufunika kuti tira facilitator kuti muze bantu kuti apa tonse amene tinali mu PF siza kapezeka pa ballot paper na imo muzi wa bunobure mweze mwakambapo ti PF is not possible kuti kapezeka pa ballot paper. So kufunika apa msanga kuuza abantu kuti imwe antani munali mu PF tiende kwa kuti bantu wafuna change safuna my structure abantu akamba titifuna change ivo my structure kumbuyo wafuna change. So manje pamene imwe muzauza abantu kuti tiende kwa kuti kambaka kuti PF usiza kapeza pa ballot sitifuna kutaya time ya PF usiza kapeza pa ballot uyu Mausi Sampa musieni na wamene wapasaze party president ya PF
Thank you my brother. Thank you. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Mwamba Mawombe.
Nditayama mlishani.
Wino lenga Boniface.
Ba Boniface kushingola landeni po wangu.
Mkwa icha kuwalirapo. Ili ngirese fya ngale pangenshira. N'abana ba Israel konse muri Bible fyalilembwa. Lesa ngale pangenshira muri fo kwabuka. esatafuire amipere chintu ichava straight afuire pava kwava kwete kwevitala avalefu okuifuaire okumona tina avafina but at the end lesatinokuisafisha ife alefu ave na zambe valefu aya so that's why futorera ndinokore vati pali inoishita natukwata avantu avengi avalelanda ichiripo chakutira napo pene pamwe kuti mwaisarosha kuti vasalangana limbi chirimo chiriri ishuko vile valemoneka kwati navasalangana elo lesakese womvye chalinga one day vakese ikala pamo vantu limbinga vali pamo vonse ivi turelanda inoishitaka kuti vavekatira pamo nangu vavaperere milandu vonse pamo lero cho tureka vila kuntunguru chishonze amushuwa shonse turelandapo ntunguru chishirive shiviri isho abantu balefu aya one mundubire makebizulu nga vaikala pamo navakalava navambi vashala pamo vaikala abantu balanda vechintu chimwe timune iwe tampako evintu tuleyana iwe chala vafibwino so chileka vilo chako ivati ikaleni panshi neriri yachimuteshani mupuishe ngeve mundetu wafo vamwamba ukutukula muli wina musango navo vense balomfwa balava vapene ichileka vilo chako ivati bonse chali wama amushuwa tabomfu oyo aleso ntomu nanko oyo muno yo aleso ntomu nanko amushuwa pata basontana bala kwa teshite ya kulanjani so ipepo jesu lya kutira ikaleni panshi okulanjani muteshani mulanjani iri ya PF twalikuwa tobu afya naliena pantuko lyafika yakutira mailo bapera mailo mwamonevi uchirevu iko chako ibati tumone pati yo tungenda na yena nokupusha iri ya mumba politics every am politics ni infine otherwise umulwani nawo aleluisha but abale pepa na bene wale pepa ukwebati vintu biteshani bipo ine mashuininga pera po wene bamwamba.
Thank you my dear brother from Chingola. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening.
This is Dr. K from Lusaka.
Dr. K, make your contribution, my brother.
Ambassador, you can't imagine that I've been calling since the program started.
I apologize. There are so many calls. I apologize.
Yes. Because this is a very interesting program, and you have very, very important topics that you are discussing today. And thank you so much for the explanation that you provided. Indeed, we need to wake up. And as Zambians, we are not blind. Indeed, by Emmanuel, the MPs or the parliament has failed us as the Zambian people. And we are praying that God is going to intervene and we are going to rise up to the occasion as the Zambian people and speak through that ballot. By Emmanuel, we are very ready. We are very, very ready. We are resolute. We are the resolute party, and we know that our candidate, Makebi Zulu, who is the legitimate candidate for Patriotic Front, will definitely emerge victorious. So we are praying and trusting that the grassroots are going to rise up to the occasion. So I just wanted to comment by Emmanuel over what transpired today, the Temple of Victory for Mao Sampa. Indeed, we know, I think the nation knows who the legitimate leader is for the Patriotic Front, and therefore there shouldn't be any confusion with who is the legitimate leader, and we know that is Makebi Zulu. And it is like they have papers, but they do not have the structures, and therefore the structures will not even waste time to even look at what Mao has done, the betrayal that has been done to the Patriotic Front. It's very, very unfortunate. And for Mundubile and all his maneuvers, I think the Zambian people are coming to realize what has been done, the deception that they have been in, and sooner than later, we shall see that Makebi Zulu will be all over. It will be bushfire. Once everything is cleared and they will be on the ballot, it will be burning the whole country. So, by Mano Mamba, I just want to thank you. Thankless job that you are doing for us. You provide a platform where the Zambian people can talk, because inside the country, it is very difficult to air out your issues because of these cyber laws, which should be repealed immediately when the new government is formed. Thank you so much, by Emmanuel Mamba.
Thank you very much. That's number 2 caller. We go to number 3 caller. Yes, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contributions.
Mwamba mwabomba sana.
Iyo twabomba London poyama nimwe bani.
This is Raphael Chanda calling from Livingston.
Raphael Chanda, make your contributions.
But lero nachira enjoy kumvira kofi ama views y'abantu. Nachira sambira mbati chansa kamikane cyaranga ati mpange ko eba mwamba. Kuri abafyashi bamwe abana kafya bachituma. Era bachira chita describe makebizuru. Bachibomfya phrase. Eka nalabo mfya pati. Makebizuru echo namupatila. Pantu abantu tabamwishiba. Nomba iya sentence chibemba bachibomfya echo namupatila. Pantu abantu tabamwishiba. Bachiba mdala bambewa bomfya futa maweza kwe bati. Lesa taroresha pamenso. Tamana tuyumutali oyumupyali nanango alionda. Lesa ala bomfya chili chonse. Ala bomfya lesa. Enda paresa na turango kwa chila chili chonse cha bomfya. Ni makebizuru. Because makebizuru na alango kwe bati alikwata ama leadership qualities. Marufu hapo ati yo makebizuru bachitaso. Makebizuru lero nabakuka. Lero makebizuru bachiranda so. Nuri omuntu nangu politics yakwe oro discuss afirefu kweta amano ifire kure chalo. Tamaka msanga uri omuntu kamboksa baira nangu kubepo pakulanda nangu kuitacha. Efire fya barida. Profiro kumana rida nfo bantu nangu benga ba 4000. Owenga ba 20 million. Sarapofe umukwe batu umuntu eto amone wingemi na ma interest y'abantu bonse. Solo bare tumama phone hapa. Then tupero mchishi bonse ama leaders. No tupate fyo umuntu ati because tabamwishiba. Kwaribo kupato kwaso. Yuyi no mwo bapatire urya. Eyo tukavotera urya. Eyo tureyana until the last day. Ta patikisha leadership yakwe batiso patikisha muno batisabo vice hand. Nangu isa unjo ine. Nangu so. Takwa befya so bamwamba. Solo bare tuma turero mba dwari kwatako kamchishi kuma leaders. Te turanda chichuna mpatira. Ngata mpatira tushire foto msupport. Te bantu bonsa bamutemwa, futte bantu bonsa bampata. Efo cha abafi muchalo. But mwiburo upato wenu mwera tete abe president panti mwe tamumutemeno. That is very wrong.
Thank you very much. Number 3 caller. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Mr. Mwamba.
Good evening.
Let me remain anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Yes, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, Mr. Mwamba, this evening. I think I concur also what the previous caller has said. And the other part, Mr. Mwamba, that I can also comment on my own, is that we have seen there are too many egos in our readers. There is no humility. Because last time we even mentioned to you that stop bringing people, actually focus to unite with others. And you narrowed a good number of presidential candidates who were hoped for that. I think we'll choose one of them. Now, even if we can join this one, we can join this one. When you see where they are, also takulanga life. Why can't we go? For example, Kimunwe is there. Makebe also is there. Why the think tanks cannot tell these two guys to say, you guys sit down. Ngacha shupa between Wamunduvire na Makebe ngabafiro kuikala pamo. Who vote for a stone because they are thinking that they have won elections. Who choose someone or a stone, we are going to vote for a stone. Thank you, Mr. Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Number 4 caller. Let's pick your call so that we close. We are taking the last calls. I'm remaining with 2 calls. I apologize. There are so many of you that have been calling, but Mustanga Mwayasuka Waikarapako weka 6 minutes, 7 minutes. You disenfranchise others, like the doctor from Lusaka who said he had been trying from the minute I opened the phone lines and he couldn't go through. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Your second last caller. Iyo twabomba.
Yeah, Nineo Caroline, East London.
Caroline from East London, make your contribution.
Yes. Bamwamba weswini ndefu afyokulanda fyati. Umuntu fyo otunga mona fyati umuntu wachinka. Umuntu akwebati kuti alanda kuti atekingam Zambia bwino ni makepi zulu. If ibalela ndati awe tuise pamo, this is not even genuine. Because natumona umuntu winga fyati Zambia fe awama ni makepi zulu. Balefu afya kumubomfya ukulanda tawe bakese pamo. Ifintu ni makepi zulu fye. Ukweto mutima. Tekweba tawe talefo ukubomba na abantu. Bafuyile bayisa pamo because abantu bali musala. Abantu eba musalile takwato obufi. So umuntu twingenda fe nanko ni makepi zulu bamwamba.
Thank you very much. My last caller here. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution. Chilabombwe, make your contribution, my dear brother.
Mamwamba ifile chika muno mucharo afishupa sana kaifia kutuletere nsoni napisha bene aba politician abanga bale muna tifidize nangu tawale muna bena tapana ikosa nangu katushifu bale chichirefu muneni ba president na bechibati life ya iri background ta iri bwino kwishi bakwena na beshiba because inga mwamuna do bayishire kulo kuchira bombo ya muneke fikwati baleranga bya abantu babiba mifo twale muna nokumuna tapali fiwemo turenda background twalishibati kunota kuli nomba ichire tushupa kochako bati leader ama leaders tabalepo kwikatana bali ba mundu bire naba makepisu natushiti shupire ngani chinshi natuishi hapo peni katushinga kumwalanje suka kuyanze katuishi.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, and thank you for joining us on Sunday. We are going to have Makebi Zulu to come and answer to the various issues, matters regarding unity in the party, unity in the opposition, the decision by PF Pamosi Alliance to pick a special purpose vehicle in Resolute Party. What does it mean? And will he join forces with members of the opposition? What happened to what we saw? Citizen First and Makebi Zulu, Harry Calaban, Makebi Zulu, people had seen the pictures and said they were talking, how far has it gone? Those will be the question to be answered by Makebi Zulu himself. There's been a call to unity for the opposition, and the prominent leaders that have also commented on unity includes Harry Kalava, Dr. Fred Membe when he was here with Dolly Kabanda, and Brian Mundwile also commented about the issue of unity when he was receiving the leadership from Woza. We'll ask Makebi Zulu his role and that particular question on the issue of unity of the opposition. We're discussing various issues, matters regarding the PF. They've been overtaken by events. Another injunction has kicked in, so we couldn't go into details because the status quo then prevailed. But we'll allocate time to discuss to those matters. Then we discussed extensively the issues regarding attempts to bar strong candidates. They want to bar independents. They want to bar those that will be sponsored by political parties where they do not appear on the register at Registrar of Societies, but a letter will be written from the party to say this particular political party is sponsoring such a candidate. We know that ECZ and Registrar of Societies is targeting such type of candidates and they want to bar them. Will Zambia hold democratic, credible, transparent, free and fair election? That is a question that we pose every day. The issues around the Human Rights Conference, the largest conference in the world that was cancelled by Zambia, is a huge disservice to our people. Hotels were full. They had bookings for 4 or 5 days. There were technical teams that had arrived. This is an international conference. It was the first time it was going to be held in Southern Africa and in Zambia. And President Hakainde Hichilema and his cabinet approved this conference. I don't know if they thought it's just a digital conference. They had no idea that it wasn't just a digital conference. It was a human rights and digital rights conference. That is a full term of that conference. And it attracted the recent organization that has condemned President Hakainde Hichilema for passing cyber laws, narrowing democratic space, narrowing civic space, narrowing media space, exposing his violation of human rights in institutions like the United Nations Human Rights Council, like Human Rights Watch International. They were going to take center stage on this discussion. Government is trying to peddle the lie that this conference was about LGBT because they know how you feel about LGBT. Where were they when they approved it in 2023? When all the preparations have been done the last 3 years. Today they just backed out, and they just didn't back out, and that has damaged and dented the image of our country. They also deprived of our people money in bookings and cancellations from car hire to hotels and to other service providers that were going to cater to these 2,000 delegates coming from across the country. It was a decision in violation. We may have a broadcast on Friday to discuss other things, but make a date on Sunday. We host Makebi Zulu after they've launched the Resolute Party as a special purpose vehicle for the PF Pamosi Alliance. Until then, God bless you, and we'll speak to you later.
We want change! We want change! We want change! We want change! We want a change!
The sound magician. Wi-Fi on the beat, boy.
Twakupele voting ngatawa bomba Twakupele voting ngatawa bomba Tawali mone voting ngatawa bomba Tawali mone voting ngatawa bomba Pantuno mwaka Uya bebele Twanakane mwe Mwachila mobufi Uya bebele Twamwele numa Uya bebele Mwalitula ile ona lebwa timukesa tupangira kwemisebo Twali mipele nevoti atimukesa tupangira kwemisebo Nimwewo mwatile mukesa tukulila nechipatala ifwe Nimwewo mwatile mukesa tukulila na masukulu kuno Ukutula potwa misalila ifwe Mwalitula baona lebo Imisebo ala ya jonaika Ichipatala takwaba kuno Abana wesu wasambilila mufimuti fya mango Bana mayo mapapila mungande Zipatala takwaba kuno Imisepila chose malofwa Bapepa tebange Fama lelilo mufunda tawafika Nembuto tashafika Ukutula potwa misalila ifwe Mwalitula baona lebo Nomba lelo mabwela imwe Mulefwa ya tumivotire Twakupele voti ngatawa bomba Twakupele voti ngatawa bomba Tawali mone voti ngatawa bomba Tawali mone voti ngatawa bomba Pantuno mwaka Uya bebele Twanakane mwe Mwachila mobufi Uya bebele Twamwele numa Uya bebele Mwachila mobufi Uno mwaka tulefa yabakutubombera Nota bakwisa kuno mukuzembereka Mukutwibira mano nga twabavotera abaya Nangu mwatupele ndalama tulepo katatwa mivotere Nidonti kubeba Wapoka waya Nidonti kubeba Wapoka waya Ababina chimwe na mwekole Uko bafuma balilaba Bayi kutapiza Bala boko bafuma Bayi kutapai Bala bati bakabwela misalila ifwe walitula baona lebo nomba lelo mabwela imwe mulefa yatumivotire twakupele voti ngata wabomba